Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today I want to talk about the mass exit of American IC engineers out of China by orders of the Biden administration, or else lose your American citizenship. Phew. Here's the executive summary. It's a disinformation campaign. It's fake news. It doesn't exist. It's not happening. Let me give you a little bit of backstory here. Disinformation is rampant throughout the United States right now. You can't trust anything. Go to routers, go to AP, it's all bullshit. CNN, bullshit. Fox News, bullshit. It's all bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And it's getting more and more outrageous because the bullshit is based upon people believing and sitting within echo chambers. That's all corralled by the NSA in the Vault 7 Edward Snowden information packet. Basically, Americans are controlled electronically by Vault 7 algorithms. And so you're in these echo chambers. That's a real crude way of calling it, an echo chamber. But basically, you're corralled into various groups, and propaganda is then beamed within that group. And there's all kinds of propaganda, and one of the propaganda packages is the anti-China narrative, just like the anti-Russia narrative, and all sorts of other narratives. And in this case here, we're going to be talking about one of the latest and greatest anti-China narratives. And so I was aware of this a couple days ago. A guy tweeted saying that President Biden ordered all Americans working in IC chip fabrication to return back to the United States immediately or lose their citizenship. And I'm in China. I'm an engineer. Sure, I run companies and stuff, but my background is engineering. I'm electrical, mechanical, aerospace, okay? So I'm tangentially attached to these industries. And I do work with these industries. Ain't nothing happening. Not happening. It's not happening. But the first thing that got my ire up was that Biden says he was going to take away American citizenship. Nobody can take away an American citizenship. You can't take away somebody's citizenship. You cannot de-citizenify somebody. It can't be done. I'm not saying it won't be done in the future, but I'm saying there's no mechanism to do so, and it's against the Constitution. You can write your proclamations, kingly proclamations, all you want, but that doesn't change the fact that there's no system in place to do it. You understand what I'm saying? There's no system in place to do something like that. To make scrambled eggs, there's a system. You get the eggs, you break the eggs, you put it in a pan, you turn on the heat. There's a system. Everything has a system. There's no system attached to losing your citizenship. That's the first thing. The second thing is all of a sudden the association of all China IC collapse, all factories collapse, massive exodus of people. Whoever wrote this bullshit disinformation is trying to convince people that there's this great, enormous group of American engineers toiling inside of China doing all kinds of IC fabrication for the Chinese. It's not a reality. There might be one or two, maybe 3 or 4 tops. But no, they're not there. It's all Chinese people doing this stuff. What's the matter with you? You guys lose a part of your brain, your brain matter, your gray matter? Why can't you understand that? Right? It doesn't exist. So that's the second thing, you know. But the third thing, I'm an American expat. I'm an engineer. I'm attached to the embassy. I'm attached to the consulate. There's a process, a procedure, and a protocol for extracting Americans from hostile situations. When Donald Trump was president, he advised all Americans to leave China. He advised this in 2018, right before coronavirus hit. So 6 months before coronavirus hit, Donald Trump warned all Americans in China to leave immediately. And therefore, I, as an American engineer working in here, got the notice. But that didn't happen. There's no notices on the embassy web pages or the Guangzhou Consulate Embassy web page, Guangzhou Consulate page. There's also a sub-page where alerts for American citizens. There's nothing like that there. There's no orders. There's nothing like that. Contacted the American Chamber of Commerce in China. I've got a direct hot link. There's nothing going on there. So even if this occurred, how are you supposed to communicate to the engineers? Well, obviously, there's no mechanism there. They're not being communicated to. And even if they were, and even if this is true, even if this event is true, is losing your citizenship that bad of a deal? The vast majority of American citizens working in China are of Chinese descent, especially those in the IC chip realm. That's right. They may have obtained American citizenship, but, you know, their parents are from China, and in many cases, they themselves are also Chinese. For them, it's just a matter of Biden says, I'm taking away, I'm stripping you of your American citizenship. They're like, okay. These people have options, people. They have options. America's not this great, wonderful place that everybody seems to think. If you're Chinese, it certainly isn't. So, so I came across all this, and and of course for me, it's a disinformation campaign. I'm just irritated. As I said in the other video, I'm just really irritated about all the network of lies, this just constant barrage. It's like a fire hose of lies. Jesus H. Christ. Lies and insults. And it's pretty irritating. I think they're a bunch of morons in the States. And so this is the latest and greatest. What's going to happen? It's giving people in America this false sense that Biden has controlled and is teaching China a lesson and doing all kinds of stuff, and China is behind. You guys can believe whatever you want. China is not behind. As I mentioned in my other video, I mean, there's new construction going up all over here for IC chip fabrication, for artificial intelligence, for robotics, for micro drones, and all sorts of electronic gear. It's all under construction. Buildings, brand new buildings, high-speed train connections, everything. It's all there. It's going up. Yet, I'm seeing nothing like that in the U.S. Nothing. Can anybody in the audience tell me that there is a factory going up that's going to help develop IC chip fabrication technology where they live? Is there anybody out there? Anybody? That means I'm talking to you. Can you tell me that there's a place nearby that's going up, that's employing people and recruiting and all that? Can you tell me that? Because I'm not seeing it, not on my career websites. And in China, it's all over the place. So there's a major disconnect between the reality, being me in the frontline trenches, and the bullshit, this artificial narrative. So what happened was I got up in the morning. I always check MOA, Moon over Atlanta. It's pretty good. Bernard, also known as B, writes some good topics. Mostly, he's really good when it comes to Europe, and so he's got a lot of good things and valid intel about Europe. Not so much for the rest of the world. When he covers China, it's pretty much hit and miss. Generally, his misses, though, are closer to the mark than other people. The problem is sometimes he can get snookered in to the craziest bullshit that's out there, and in this case, he was snookered in saying, see? But basically what he did is he says, look, the Biden has this massive anti-China campaign on IC chip fabs, and they've kind of loosened up a nuclear exchange in that regard. I'm not denying that. But I think it's more rhetoric and disinformation campaign than it is actual actions. I'll repeat myself here. This series of events by President Biden is mostly talk and a huge disinformation organ than it is actual physical events. Take that to the bank. Right now, Americans are unaware of it because of the echo chamber. This Vault 7 disinformation overall campaign, they still think that the best IC chips are American made in Taiwan. China has decades to catch up, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. It's just bullshit. It's not. China's been manufacturing 7 nm chips all this last year. They're now constructing 0.3 nm machinery for, they leapfrogged generational constraints. They're using new systems. They're not using the kinds of systems that America has blockaded, and they're forced to be reckoned with. That's the reality. Meanwhile, the president of Taiwan, the president of the DPP, is in active talks with China for handling the reunification. The attempt by the United States to disable chip manufacturing from Korea has failed. The United States can make all the proclamations it wants, but companies are not going to throw away their customers. They're not going to do so. It's a suicide move. So these companies are saying, fuck you, Biden, we're going ahead. You can say all you want, you can make whatever proclamations you want. It's not going to happen. And so, you know, now, all this being said, I'm telling you my point of view because I'm here in China. I'm in this industry, amongst other industries. I'm here and I'm telling you what's going on. You don't have to believe me. There are other well-paid experts that you can read about on the American news that will tell you things you want to hear. China's collapsing, this and that, blah, 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 blah. China's behind, blah, 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 blah. Biden is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln. You can believe whatever you want. There's a lot of disinformation campaigns going on. One of them is that there's cracks in the relationship between Russia and China. That's a disinformation campaign. It started and kind of fell flat on its face, seeing that Russia and China, as of the 4th of February 2022, decided that they're going to form a new country. Just because Americans aren't being told this stuff doesn't mean it's not going on. And so this disinformation is based upon a fabricated reality that has no appearance to actual reality. That's the way it works. So, that's the reality here, huh? Okay, so let's kind of summarize some of this stuff here, okay? The first point is that this idea of American engineers fleeing China and this action collapsing the Chinese IC chip industry is fake, it's disinformation, has not occurred. That's the first point. Second point is the idea that China's industry requires American engineers to operate is also fake information that really appeals to a vast, dumbed-down society. You've got to be a total moron to believe that. That whopper doesn't exist. Another thing is that President Biden can take away somebody's citizenship at will. Nope, doesn't work that way. I'm not saying it won't in the future, but as it stands right now, there's no process or procedure to do so, so it's a lie too. The way you can always find out how bad this disinformation is whenever you start saying, see, this action will collapse China. Somebody talking about collapsing of China or collapsing China's industry or collapsing China agriculture or collapsing China something, shimmer, is just automatically should be discounted. China is an enormous country. 5 times the population of the US, people. 5 times. The continental China is bigger than the continental United States by a whopper factor. Okay? So it's just enormous. This idea that America can do anything to China and collapse anything does not exist. America can't do jack shit to cause a collapse in China. It's tried. It tried poisoning livestock with drone flying viruses and stuff back in 2017 and 2018. It failed. Tried doing all kinds of stuff. Failed. America can't collapse shit. All America can do is collapse itself. And it seems to be doing a damn good job at that too. You know, generally when I comment on things, I get a lot of upvotes and positives. Believe it or not, I am the most read person on for Asia Pacific on Quora, and the most respected participant on expat.com. Whatever it's worth. These are just my opinions because I'm here. I'm telling you what I see. That's all. What I'm seeing is just a bunch of bullshit. I don't like bullshit. I don't think you guys like bullshit either. But people are going to believe what they want to believe. And the way propaganda works is they'll tell you something that you want to hear. You want to believe. It makes you feel good. And if you're in the Vault 7 corral or echo chamber, you're in that. You want to hear this. It feeds. So if you're in that corralled environment and you're enjoying it, then by all means, what do you think happened? You think that America has gotten China by the balls. That's what you think. China can't do anything. And you are going to be totally stunned in a year or two when the reality, boom, bitch slaps you. In this reality that we're in right now, it's better for you to have no information than to be fed lies and disinformation. That's a fact, Jack. So don't get too upset. You read this stuff. Don't be like me. I'm like, oh God, how can people believe such stuff? Next thing you'll hear, the news will be, everybody in China is growing horns in their head. You know, the level of bullshit is truly stunning. And with that, people, I hope you have a great day. Do your best you can. Try to stay away from the bullshit, because there's going to be another onslaught of bullshit. It's going to be nonstop China bullshit. And then after the election, there's going to be even more. And then Republicans are going to get in, and then China's going to have to start destroying things. But by the time that happens, I don't think there'll be much left of the United States. And with that, people, take care, do the best, be kind to dogs and cats, make a difference in the world. Don't throw out bad emails, don't be insulting to other people, don't demand you do this and you do that, and demand change and demand something from them. That's a service to self. A lot of these people come here demanding that I do this and that. I'm not going to do jack shit, guys, because you're a service to self person if you demand me to do something. And I'm like oil to water to you. But what I can do, I can do and perform lensing. I never talked about lensing, did I? Okay, I talked about what sending a person to a cornfield is, right? I talked about how I would alter the templates and change the coordinates, and I can do this and that, and do swap outs and things. But one thing that I can also do is something called lensing. What lensing does is you amplify the attractiveness for various types of quanta. It's sort of like a filter, but it's more like a lens. So let's suppose, you know, you're you've got an unlucky streak right now, and no matter what you do, you'll get a parking ticket, or you'll trip over you'll stick in your foot will stick on some chewing gum, or you'll trip over a can. Just seems like bad luck. Well, that's because in a quantum attachment is set up, and it's actually tied in to the word line that you're at. It's not the primary template, it's the underlying template. And so if that was changed, or you're in the like floating pockets, I think I discussed this, the floating pockets on the substrate of the underlying template. Well, what a lensing does is it moves that underlying pocket to travel with you. So if there's this underlying pocket of just, you know, nasty stuff happening to you, a lensing can attach that with your consciousness. So as you move on your template, it just stays with you. It's sort of like this cloud that's always hanging over you. We can inadvertently do lensing on our own by reading and watching a lot of horror movies and stuff like that. You start to attract quantum behaviors, and these things will start hanging out with you. And but I mean, I can also do that. I can also direct that. Not doing it, but the point that I'm trying to say is that you can self-inflict a lensing effect on your life. And that's what's happening to people who are trapped within these corralled Vault 7 echo chambers, are actually self-lensing some bad quanta their way. It's not a good thing. You all got to break out of it. And with that, people, do the best you can. Take care. Be the best you can possibly be. And I believe in you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
船不断流转在从前， 万古的变迁不是遥远，再有10000年，深情也不变，爱像烈火般蔓延。几十条长线盘旋在天边，沉浮中以为情深缘浅，你再度出现，我看见誓言，承诺在水天之间，回头看都太难，分开之后更勇敢，愿真爱世代相传。喝不完忘情却不让你入虔诚在怀念，望见入眠。